Hi, I'm Sam Peterson, and this is the Millcreek Government Channel. Our guest today is Mark Jennings, Executive Director of the Erie Sports Commission, Erie's sports tourism agency. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sam. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. So I guess we'll start with just kind of like what does the Erie Sports Commission do? Just kind of some background. What's your guys' mission? And then what's your role specifically there?
Well, I'm the Executive Director of the Erie Sports Commission. We're a division of Visit Erie. Visit Erie is our local convention and visitors bureau. Visit Erie's role is to attract and drive tourism basically in a leisure type fashion. Any kind of tourism they oversee. We're very targeted at sports and competitions. So we are looking to try to attract events and competitions that are going to drive people into Erie County, stay in our hotels, and generate economic activity in the hospitality industry.
Gotcha. So how does that kind of differ from like what Visit Erie does, like directing just standard tourism, and you guys are more focused on the groups, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Sports tourism.
Yeah, generally speaking, Visit Erie's out there marketing Erie as a vacation destination in communities like Columbus, Hershey, Harrisburg, Buffalo, Cleveland, in the region, trying to attract people here. For us, as the Sports Commission, we're trying to attract events from anywhere. Event organizers could be located in, California. They could be located anywhere. If they want to bring their event here that is going to attract participants into Erie that will stay in our hotels, that's what we're interested in.
So what's the farthest away sports that you guys have gotten here?
Well, the event organizers have come from all over the country. We've had events here that have brought participants in from Europe. There was a powerlifting event that brought participants in from Africa.
Really?
So we have had a lot of success, and I'm not saying hundreds of participants, but
Yeah.
we look at the zip codes afterwards, and there's, it's Africa, there's no zip code, so you can figure that out. But it's very rewarding to introduce our community to people, many of which, including the event organizers, really don't know anything about Erie. So the goal is to get them here, and then the goal once they get here is to show them everything we have so that they'll come back on their own afterwards.
Gotcha. So would you say that's kind of like the impact that the sports tourism has, like getting them to come back?
I think that's the ulterior motive. Selfishly, our motive as a sports commission is to find events that will stay here year over year over year. It's easier to get an event and keep an event than it is to find a new event. The offshoot to that is having the opportunity to find people that will participate that come here and look at all that we have, because I really believe that outside of our county or western Pennsylvania, some of Ohio and western New York, people don't understand how great Erie is and what a great tourism destination Erie is, starting with Presque Isle and rolling through everything else, Waldameer, Splash Lagoon, all the great restaurants, the breweries that have developed around here. It is a fantastic place, and we hear that constantly from participants that come here, that a lot of times we hear, boy, I had no idea. That's the reaction we get, and that's always a good reaction.
Absolutely. So where do you think that this sports tourism in Erie, where do you see it going, like in the next 5, 10, 15 years?
Well, it's been interesting. I've been with the Sports Commission now for over 10 years, and we went through a pretty large economic downturn, and things continued to move quickly. Obviously, we went through COVID, and nationally, sports tourism is what started to bring the hospitality industry back. People have a passion to play sports, whether you're an adult and you love to play a sport, or you're an adult and have children who love to play sports, and you don't want to, you want to foster that passion when it comes to sports. So sports tourism has basically shown to be bulletproof, in my opinion. And I just think it's going to continue to grow. And we're trying to stay on the top of that wave, take advantage of the popularity and the opportunities that are out there, and try to find more and more events to bring to Erie County. The challenge we have as a sports commission is we're 3 people. We're doing over 80 events, or hosting and supporting over 80 events. There's only so much time in the day. So we are trying to find those events that we can bring here, set them up, and allow them to run on their own into the future.
So what are some of the ways that you would attract those events here?
Well, mostly it's going to conferences. We travel to 4 or 5 conferences a year where there are way more destinations like us and not as many events out there. That has been a obvious trend that when I started, there was, there probably was 200 or 300 sports commissions across the country, maybe a little more. Now we go to conferences and there's 500 or 600 destinations representing.
Everyone knows it's bulletproof, right?
Well, they know it's bulletproof, and they know it's a great economic generator. So the challenge is when you've got 500 or 600 destinations, the number of event organizers has not increased exponentially. So you're sort of in a position where you're looking at the competition has increased dramatically. So the conferences are a great place. We've had a lot of success looking at passionate people in our own community and saying, what's your passion and why can't we do an event here? My best example of that is in the early days of the Sports Commission, the Erie Frost came to meet with us. One of their organization leaders was on the Visit Erie board, and she said, we're tired of playing softball every weekend everywhere else. Why don't we have a tournament here in Erie? And we're like, that's music to our ears. That's exactly what we're looking for. That first year, they ran a tournament that was Labor Day weekend. It rained most of the weekend. It was not successful. But to their credit, they said, we're going to do it again. And they did it again in June. And it was successful. And basically, this is a June tournament that sells out 80-plus teams in November before the tournament. So it's a real success story, and it's what we sort of reflect upon and say, this is what you can do, and that tournament helps support the Erie Frost organization and their operational costs to bring more young ladies into playing softball. So we really like to encourage local development of tournaments, and Sam, the other positive to that is, the Erie Frost aren't looking to move their tournament to Indiana. They're homegrown, so they're not going to be recruited to move somewhere else. So they are a solid base for our list of events that we support and host. So
would you say that tournament was one of the largest events you've done, or have there been others?
We're involved in some hockey tournaments that are pushing 90 to 100 teams. Most of our success, not success, but most of our bigger events, which may come as a surprise to many, are held in the winter. MLK weekend has traditionally been our busiest weekend of sporting events. We have Stars and Stripes Gymnastics that we support that brings in about 2,000 to 2,500 athletes over the course of the weekend. We work with a hockey tournament company called TCS Hockey that does the MLK Cup that weekend. They're pushing 80 or 90 teams that are in the community, and it's a big weekend for Erie, and it happens in January. And there's this sense that you can't do anything in January in Erie because the weather's not conducive.
That's just what I was thinking. Yeah,
but it's not true, and it doesn't play to be true because January we have that, February we have the Sarah Backstrom tournament, which brings in between 70 and 80, maybe more girls hockey teams in the community annually. In March, we have the PA State Pool Tournament, which brings about 2,000 pool players into Erie annually. And in April, although we should be out of the winter weather, we have the National Cheer Championships down at Erie Insurance Arena that brings in 175 teams. And those tournaments are all in what we call our shoulder seasons, which are extremely important events to our hospitality industry. Everybody wants to come here from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Mm-hmm. Our challenge is how do we get people here from Labor Day to Memorial Day in that window that covers the winter months, and that's what we focus on.
Gotcha. So then how do you measure the impact that those specific events have?
Well, our number one key performance indicator is economic impact. Mm-hmm. So we work with our event organizers. We support them with some grant funding and some other services that we can provide, some local marketing services. All of our services are free of charge. What we ask in return is participant data at the end of the event. We need zip codes. We need to know where these teams are coming. Ideally, we need to know how many room nights they're consuming, because we do subscribe to a national calculator through Destinations International that we can pump in a few numbers and quickly come out with the economic impact of the event. So we do that calculation before the event with estimated numbers, and then we do it again after the event with actual numbers to measure, how good the event was. And then at the end of the year, we tabulate all that together. And basically, we're generating between $15 and $20 million in economic impact every year.
Wow. And you see the bulk of that probably during those busier months. Like you said, we're right around MLK Day.
We do. I mean, during January, February, March, those tend to be our biggest events. Summer is great in Erie, Pennsylvania, but hotel rates are usually elevated, and that sometimes is not attractive to event organizers. It's not to say we don't try to attract events here in the summer, but we're actively recruiting events that would fall in October, November, December, January, February, and March.
Okay, and then how many of those events do involve like overnight stays in hotels? Are most of the events like just kind of one and done, like you get there, you get out? Or is it always just people like staying overnight, big tournaments from out of town, things like that?
Our number one component is that our tournaments have to include a hotel component.
Okay.
We are funded by a percentage of the hotel tax. So our goal is to put as many people in hotels as possible to feed the fire.
Yeah.
So that we have funding to continue to move forward, to continue to support these events. So, I would say that, there were a handful of events that we know aren't going to be big hotel generators, but we support them because either A, they're good for the community, or B, it's an event that we think puts us on the map. We did the Color Run about 5 or 6 years ago. We knew it generated hotel room nights, but it was a one-day event, and we knew that most people were local that were in it. But boy, did that elevate us into a national stage. We sold 10,500 registrations for the Color Run in 2.5 weeks. It was a fantastic event, and it was great for the city.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it. So there are some of those, but our focus is on events that are going to have a hotel component, that are going to generate hotel room nights.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about Go Play Days.
Yeah, Go Play Days is a fairly new initiative that we started last year. There is a national trend now with a downturn in participation in youth athletics. And there's a number of reasons that go towards that, probably way too many to get into here. So we decided as a staff that we wanted to try to figure out a way that we could encourage some people to try some new sports. Initially, we were focusing on kids and realized that, there's an opportunity here for adults to come out and play as well. So we partnered with a number of organizations in the last 1.5 years to encourage them to run an opportunity for people to come out and learn a new sport. We worked with the Erie Youth Hockey Association originally because they do have a Hockey Learn to Play Day. It's already sort of packaged. They run it, we market it in the community. We've since done a pickleball session. We did a couple sessions at Ascend Climbing. We're working with other opportunities as well as Lakeshore BMX right now. It's just a chance to encourage people to get out and try something new, with the hope that they're going to turn around and do it again and maybe become passionate about the event.
Absolutely. And you'd say those are pretty well attended?
They have been to date.
Yeah.
Everyone has sold out to date. In fact, the Ascend Climbing Gym one that we did earlier this year, we had to add a second day because the response was so large that we decided to work with Ascend to do a second session, which was fantastic. We hope that's the case with all our events. And to be fair, they're small groups because you're teaching people how to do this. So
right.
You're talking 15 to 20 individuals that get this opportunity based on what the sport is. And for Ascend, we did 1 day with 2 sessions and then did a second day with 2 more sessions because of the demand.
So, Mark, what awards did the Erie Sports Commission just give out recently?
Well, every year we host our event organizers in order to say thanks to them for the hard work that they do. You know, the Sports Commission, we don't run any events. We attract people to come here that are the experts to run events. And I think you can figure out if we're hosting and supporting 80 plus events a year, we just don't have the bandwidth or the expertise to be able to do this or to do that. So it is ultimately important for us to have those experts that come in here and do run the events. So a few years back, we decided we'd take some time to recognize them with our annual Sports Tourism Awards. We give out 7 awards at a dinner that, to be frank with you, I didn't understand the impact of it until one year we had a group that left not real happy because they didn't get an award. And it's not like they weren't recognized for their efforts. It was just a miscommunication of what they were doing. But it was interesting because it struck me then that this was very important to our event organizers, that you know, they often don't get the recognition that they deserve. They work hard on planning. They put in super long hours the weekend of their events, and then they start planning for their next event. So they're always working, and that's the great thing about the passionate nature of these individuals when it comes to their sport. So the Sports Tourism Award is held annually. I think 7 awards that we give out. That has become a staple on our calendar, and actually the only event that we run and operate annually. So, you know, so it's
the other side of the glass, right?
Yeah, we get to feel a little bit how they feel, although we only have a 2-hour dinner and it's not a 2-day event. So there's a drastic difference in the amount of time commitment, but certainly there's a lot of preparation we put into it, and it means a lot to us to make sure that we put together a good night that reflects how we feel about our event organizers and how they're important to our operations. If they're not there, we're not here. So we want to make sure that we tell them annually that we appreciate what they do, and certainly want to highlight their efforts on a larger scale so that they can emerge from sort of behind the scene operators and be upfront and recognized for their efforts.
All right. Well, that sounds great. So then where can viewers go to either get more information about the Erie Sports Commission, or maybe if they think that they have an event that might be a fit? I don't know if that's something that you guys would listen to, or I'm not sure. Yeah,
most certainly. We love to hear people who are passionate about whatever sport or competition they're passionate about. So the best place to go is eriesportscommission.com. That's our website. All our contact information is there. And you can learn more about the Sports Commission. You can learn more about what we're involved with. And most certainly, if there's somebody that has a passion about a sport and would like to figure out if it's something that we can support here locally, we'd love to hear from them.
All right. Well, Mark, thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
And thank you, the viewers, for listening. We learned so much about the Erie Sports Commission today. Please go to their website for more information. Until next time, I'm Sam Peterson.